Hello, yes, it's Joe here for Joyrider TV. I am very excited to be coming to you with the up-to-date results of the Global Speed Stick 2021. Such exciting times. So the Global Speed Stick is where you can go out sailing, take a GPS device with you, send me the results, what your top speed was, and then I will add your top speed to the Global Speed Stick. And it's a great way of recording your top speed. You can either compete just with yourself or with everybody else on the speed stick. I'm just going to run you through all of the runners and riders because this is the first update video of the year, and we'll see who was sailing the boat, where they were sailing the boat, how fast they went. In 58th position on the speed stick currently with a speed of 10.91 knots, sailing on Gulf Lake, Ontario, Canada on a laser radial was Ryan. Yes, that's right, straight in with a monohull. But if you are sailing a monohull, yes, you can get on the speed stick, and if there are enough monohulls to justify it, we'll actually set up a separate speed stick just for monohulls, so get involved. Then in 57th position, and very possibly the youngest helmsman on the speed stick, we've got Ben sailing with his crew Chris on a Prindle 19 on Lake Somerville, Texas, USA, with a speed of 12.43 knots. Then in 56th, we've got Emile, who we featured in Show Us Your Cat on the Hobie 17 Sport in Quiberon, Brittany, France, 12.52. Then just a little notch above with 14 knots on the Hobie Wave, we've got Ron in Sanford, Florida, USA. Then just a little bit quicker with 14.1 in Hammond Bay, Michigan, USA on the Prindle 16, we've got Matt and Bobby. Then in 53rd position, we've got Charles and Lisa sailing a Hobie 16, West Point, Georgia, USA, a speed of 14.4 knots. Who else is as excited as I am right now? Put it in the comments below. Then we're heading to South America, to Brazil, in Sao Paulo, Juramirim Reservoir, where we've got Murillo sailing solo on the Hobie 16 with another speed of 14.4 knots, tied there. And then in 51st position, one of the first sailors to get on the speed stick this year is Aziz in Egypt, in Alexandria, on a Dart 16 with a speed of 14.77 knots. Then in 50th position, so we're coming into the top 50 now, we've got Frank in Lake Ontario, Canada, on the Prindle 15, flying free with a speed of 14.85 knots. Then, as you would expect, we are notching it up to 49th with Hugh, Emily and Mia on a Dart 18 in Barry, South Wales in the UK. Great stuff with a speed of 14.9 knots. Then in 48th position, we've got Brett and Scott on a Mark 1 Nacra Infusion F18 in Androscoggin Lake, Minnesota, USA, with a speed of 15.03. And then notching it up in 47th position, we've got Robin and Jeff sailing a Hobie 16, Merritt Island, Florida, USA, of course, with a speed of 15.5 knots. Is this getting hot? 46th position, down in Australia, in Collaroy, New South Wales, with a speed of 15.5 knots. We've got Josh sailing solo on a 16. Also on a 16, as featured in Show Us Your Cat, we've got Paul with My Dirty Hobie in Bad Zwischenhahn, Germany, with a speed of 15.7. We've seen the boat, we know she's got more to give. Then with a speed of 16.1 knots, also Merritt Island, Florida. On the Hobie 16, we've got Robin sailing solo, I believe. Then in 43rd position, we've got Jean sailing a Nacra 500 in Hong Kong with a speed of 16.1. This is getting juicy. Then we've got in 42nd position, possibly Joyrider TV's most enthusiastic 14 fisherman. We've got Keith in Okinawa, Japan on the Hobie 14 with a speed of 16.7. And then in 40th position, we've got Damien and Raymond sailing the Hobie Pearl in Maputo, Mozambique with a speed of 17.1 knots. In 39th position, we've got Isaac and Martin sailing a Capricorn F18. That would also be known as the C1 in Halmstad, Sweden with a speed of 17.2. Then with a speed of 17.28, sailing near Leipzig, Germany on a Topcat K2X. We've got Wolf sailing with Lars in 38th. Then in 37th, we've got Shane sailing a Hobie 14 Turbo, Lake Eisenhower, California, USA with a speed of 17.4. And then in 36th, we've also got Shane, same location, but this time sailing the Hobie 20 solo with a speed of 17.3 knots. Yes, that's right. I got those two the wrong way round. Then in 35th position, we've got Matt and John sailing a Hobie Tiger in Guernsey, which is in the Channel Islands of the UK, with a speed of 17.4. Now, you may be wondering, how come if two boats have got the same speed, one is on top, one is below? Basically, whoever got the speed more recently gets the higher position on the stick, to give you some incentive of getting out there and doing it again. 34th position in Sullish Sea, Vancouver, Canada. We've got David sailing solo on a 16 with a speed of 17.47. Then once again, notching it up back to Coleroy, New South Wales with a speed of 17.5. We've got Josh and Matt on the Hobie 16. In 32nd, as featured in Show Us She Cat, sailing on Marconi Sailing Club on the east coast of the UK on a Sprint 15, we've got Lee with a speed of 17.5. Then just a bead above, we've got Scott and Logan on a Hobie 18 SX on Lake Eisenhower, California, USA, speed 17.81 knots. Now we're getting into the bigger numbers with 18.9 on Lake Nordsee, Poddersdorf, Austria on a Hobie Fox. What a beast. We have got Lorenz and Annette. Great stuff in 30th. So we're inside the top 30 now. Who is feeling the tension? Put it in the comments below. Then in 29th position, we've got Jish sailing the Minicat 4.3 in Richmond River, New South Wales, USA with a speed of 18.25. On that 4.3, this must have absolutely been cooking. Oh my goodness. Then in 28th position, we've got Richard sailing a 16 solo in Rockport Reservoir, Utah, USA with a speed of 18.3. And then back to Scandinavia, to Lake Runfallen, Sweden with a speed of 18.33 on a Nacra 5.5. We've got Mikael and Peter. Great stuff there. Then in 26th position, again as featured in Show Us She Cat, we've got Mike and Benno sailing a Hurricane 5.9 SX in Gerswaldesee, Germany with a speed of 18.4. Very exciting. not sticking it in the bushes this time. Then in 25th position, we've got Oliver sailing his Hobie 17 in Pioneer Sea, Germany. Very poor pronunciation, I think you'll find, with a speed of 18.46. Then in 24th position, we've got Alberto and Jose, also sailing a Hobie 17 on Rapel Lake, Chile, also featured in Show Us Your Cat, with a speed of 18.5 knots. Whew! Now we're up to 23rd. We've got Scott sailing solo on the Hobie 18 SX, Lake Eisenhower, California, USA, with a speed of 18.54. This is getting juicy. Then with a speed of 18.62, we're heading to the Caribbean. Very nice on the Hobie 16. We've got Frederick and Sebastian smashing it into 22nd. Then in 21st, we've got Robert on a Hobie FX12 in Zeewolde, the Netherlands, with a speed of 18.77. Then in 20th position, Melbourne, Florida, USA, we've got Eric and Scott on a 16. With a speed of 18.9. Also with a speed of 18.9, but possibly a bit colder, on Lake Huron, Ontario, Canada, we had Stephen sailing solo on the 16. Also sailing solo on the 16, we've got Scott in Cultus Lake, Oregon, USA, with a speed of 19.03. Now that is respectable when you're on your own on a 16. Dropping it in the slots there. Then in 17th position, we've got Scott, another Scott, also sailing solo on the 16, this time on Lake Norman, North Carolina, USA, with a speed of 19.2 knots. We are certainly notching it up here. Then in 16th position, sailing an FX1 in Grömitz, Germany, we've got Timon with 19.37 knots. Who is going to be the first to smash through the 20 knot barrier? Stay tuned and you might just find out. Then in 15th position, we've got Brian and Shane on a Hobie 20 Miracle. We're back at Lake Eisenhower, California, USA, with a speed of 19.47. You can feel the excitement building as we plough through this. Then in 14th position, we've got Dave, Office Hands Dave there, on a 16 solo, Lake Lanier, Georgia, USA, with a speed of 19.5 knots. Then with a speed of 19.76 knots in the US Virgin Islands in St. Thomas, sailing a Hobie 18 SE, we've got Sven and Dave. And just poking it above the 20 knot mark. Yes, in 12th position, we've got Scott and Tom sailing a Tornado in Galveston Bay, Texas, USA, with a speed of 20.3. That is really shifting on the Tornado. Great stuff there, guys. Notching it up into 11th, we've got Matt and Jamie sailing a Hobie 16 in Queenstown, New Zealand, with a speed of 20.4 knots. Then in 10th position, we've got Casey solo on a Hobie 16 in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada, with a speed of 20.52. This is getting intense. We are now into the top 10. Ninth place, we've got Niels and Eddie on the Rockport Reservoir, Utah, on a 16 with 20.6 knots. Then in 8th position, we've got Nigel and Anthony, also on a Hobie 16, but this time in Australia, sailing in Somers, Victoria, with a speed of 20.8 knots. Even faster now in 7th place, we've got Christopher and Sven and Sten just in a Tornado, sailing in Öregrund, Sweden, with a speed of 20.9. Now I can tell you, the Tornado is a very fast boat around the course, but as far as top speeds go, it might not be the fastest out there. So that is really smashing it there, guys. Good work. In 6th position, we've got Anthony and Maz sailing a Hobie 16 in Somers, Victoria, Australia, with a speed of 21.2. Now, who is going to be the fastest at the end of the year from Somers, Victoria, Australia? We shall see. They're notching it up. We're going to Markermeer in the Netherlands, that's Holland to you and me, with a speed of 21.4 knots, sailing a Nacra 20. We've got Hein and Philip, and that is 5th position there. Then in 4th position, we've got Timon and Film and Finn sailing a Hobie Pacific in Grommitz, Germany. That is a Hobie Pacific. Yes, you heard this correctly. With a speed of 21.6 knots. Banging it there. That is really going for it on the Pacific. Then in 3rd position, yes, we're on the podium now. We've got JF Jugult sailing solo on a Hobie 16 in Qatar, Qatar, sorry, with a speed of 21.7 knots, and the fastest single-handed 16 on the leaderboard at this time. That is gunning it. In 2nd place, we have got, sailing out of New Zealand, Littleton Harbour, with a speed of 22.2 knots on a Hobie 16. We've got Matt and Bobby. Great work, guys. That is a very good speed. How long are you going to keep second? We shall see. Great stuff. And at the moment, Kings of the Bay, we have got sailing a Hobie 20 SX as featured in Show Us Your Cat in Mount Dora, Florida, USA, with a speed of 23.9 knots. Now that is jolly quick on any day of the week, as far as I know. We've got Tiger and Craig absolutely smashing it to take the lead of the leaderboard at this time. Woo! Oh yes, it is looking very hot on the leaderboard. So if you're not yet involved, get out there, put in the big speed or whatever speed you can achieve on whatever type of sailing boat you could get your hands on. You can get on the leaderboard more than once if you're sailing a different type of boat. So get involved. Yes, it's open to catamarans. Yes, it's open to trimarans. Yes, it's open to monohulls. If you're not yet subscribed to Joyrider TV, then please do subscribe. Hit the like button as well if you like. If you want to get involved in the speed stick, just check out in the description below. All the details are there, what you need to do. So do get involved. Thank you very much. I'll be back soon with some more on Joyrider TV.